Hi guys. Today, what we're going to talk about is about the concept of irresistible offer. Now, there's something very, very interesting about offers. Let me tell you that in a bit. And before we get to that, let's get into. So, we're talking about irresistible offers today. Number one, what the fuck is an offer? Before we get to that, though, let me clarify some popular misconceptions or popular answers that I'm gonna get from you. Uh, an offer is not really your product, nor is it a discount, nor is it an incentive or a promotion. So, what is an offer? An offer is basically a trade. It is something you offer to someone in order to get something from that someone. It's a trade, you're offering someone potatoes in return for money, or you're offering someone goats in return for gold, right? So it's actually a trade that's happening. And what you really offer, what the exact thing that you offer is the offer, the thing that you're offering. It could be 1 kg of goats that are freshly farmed and something like that. So think of an offer like terms of the deal. That's what an offer exactly is. It has the entire deal summarized. It's always more of a deal than a product. You give someone a deal, right? So if you get what I mean by deal, you get what an offer is. So now, what's an irresistible offer? Now, irresistible offer, the whole concept of irresistible offer actually originated with this book called Irresistible Offer. And irresistible offer, is a what do you say, is a two-word phrase that you will hear across marketers. So here's my perspective of what irresistible offer is. And we this is the techniques I'm going to be talking about are the techniques that we use in house and have used successfully for a lot of people. Now, irresistible offer. Before we define an irresistible offer, let me tell you the importance of offers. If offers are so important that people think when you're serving an ad to someone, you have to write a really good copy. That is, the text that goes into the promotions, or you have to come up with a really good idea and write it very well in the rosiest of language or in very very pointed language, and you have to have a nice design, nice creative that goes with it, nice imagery that goes with it. Actually, the case is not so. Of course, if I had to divide all the importance in 100%, I think 10% is what copy helps, and 10% is what the creative helps. 80% is about the offer. How do you phrase the offer? What is the offer? How do you structure the offer? How do you differentiate the offer? Is the core part. So, what's an irresistible offer? An irresistible offer is uh, before I define a resistible offer, let me throw in a quote by Claude Hopkins. So this guy wrote this book called Scientific Advertising in 1942, and it's still super relevant. This is the guy who brought about this understanding that advertising is not an art. It's not something that just happens once in a while. Advertising is a scientific process. So if you always go with certain triggers, you're always likely to see that kind of a response from the audience. So if you always, I mean, that makes it a repeatable process, a predictable process. You can study advertising, you can understand advertising, and you can get good at it because it's science. If you do A plus B, you will always get C. Advertising has patterns. You understand advertising that way. So this guy says, uh, when you go to your market, make an offer so great that only a lunatic would refuse to buy. That's how good your offer should be. That's the concept behind an irresistible offer. So basically, an irresistible offer is nothing but strategic structuring of your products or your services so that the value to cost ratio is heavy. What does the value to cost ratio mean? So, as I said, there's a trade happening. You are giving someone something, and that is your offer, right? And you get something in return for that. So, what is happening here? You are offering a certain value, and you're asking for money in place of that. So when this happens, what you're going to do is you're going to structure your offer in such a way that this area is uh, you know evidently higher than the cost that they have to pay. That means the perceived value of your offer should be far more than the cost that the customer has to pay in order to access this value that you have to offer. So your value doesn't have to be more. You don't have to necessarily, give 100 rupee worth of goods for 10 rupee. Not materialistically that much, not objectively that much, but you have to make the perceived value here much more than the commodity value that is there. You're going to be selling a complete solution. So we get into it now. We get into creating an offer that's so good that no stops being an option. You'd be foolish to say no to, because when you and that's what actually happens when you create an offer that has higher perceived value than the cost that it has to that the customer has to bear for it. It has to be so good that the person has to be super foolish to say no to that. You cannot say no to that. It's just so good, given that you're the target audience. So if you've taken this offer to the target audience in 3 seconds, they're sold. They're just like, this is absolutely bang for the buck. So as I said, creating an obvious ROI is super, super important. If you haven't done that, there's no point going ahead. Unless you do this, do not take any further steps. There is absolutely no point. If you're confused, let me tell you what I mean here is ensure with all the capabilities that you have, knowledge wise as well, to make that perceived value of this offer much more than the cost that you're selling it for. Okay? Go and do that. I'm going to wait for you.